He mapped the hidden language of the brain, won a Nobel Prize for unlocking the secrets of the synapse, and dared to ask if science alone could ever explain the soul. This is the extraordinary story of Sir John Eccles. John Carew Eccles was born on 27th January 1903 in Northcote, a suburb of Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. His father, William James Eccles, was a schoolteacher, and his mother, Mary Carew, played a significant role in fostering his early love of learning. Eccles grew up in a modest but intellectually stimulating household, where education and discipline were deeply valued. From a young age, Eccles displayed an exceptional aptitude for science and mathematics. He attended Melbourne High School, a selective public school where he quickly stood out as a gifted student. His fascination with how the human body functioned, particularly the brain, grew steadily, setting him on the path to a lifetime of inquiry. In 1921, Eccles entered the University of Melbourne to study medicine. He excelled in his coursework, showing a unique combination of academic brilliance and philosophical curiosity. His exceptional performance earned him the prestigious Rhodes Scholarship in 1925, enabling him to study at Magdalen College, Oxford. At Oxford, Eccles was mentored by the legendary Sir Charles Sherrington, a pioneer in neurophysiology. Under Sherrington's guidance, Eccles delved deeply into the electrical workings of the nervous system. This partnership profoundly influenced Eccles's intellectual development and scientific direction. He would later describe his time at Oxford as the true beginning of his career in neuroscience. After completing his Doctor of Philosophy at Oxford, Eccles returned to Australia and began a series of academic appointments. In the 1930s, he served as a lecturer and researcher at the University of Sydney, and later as a senior research officer at the Kanematsu Institute of Pathology. During this period, he became engrossed in the question of how nerve cells communicate. Initially, Eccles was a strong proponent of the idea that synaptic transmission, the way neurons communicate with one another, was purely electrical. This set him at odds with growing evidence that suggested a chemical basis for synaptic activity. Despite being on the wrong side of the debate early on, Eccles's willingness to adapt and revise his views would become one of his defining traits as a scientist. As new techniques emerged and data accumulated, he shifted his perspective and eventually became one of the leading figures proving the chemical nature of synapses. During World War II, Eccles served as a scientific advisor to the military, focusing on physiological problems related to aviation and high-altitude flying. In 1952, Eccles was appointed head of the John Curtin School of Medical Research at the newly established Australian National University in Canberra. It was here that his most significant scientific contributions took shape. Eccles and his team used ultra-fine glass microelectrodes to measure the electrical activity inside individual neurons, a revolutionary method at the time. These experiments allowed him to observe how neurons responded to incoming signals, particularly in the motor neurons of the spinal cord. His most groundbreaking discovery was the dual nature of synaptic transmission. Some synapses were excitatory, promoting the firing of a neuron, while others were inhibitory, suppressing activity. In recognition of this work, Eccles was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1963, which he shared with Alan Hodgkin and Andrew Huxley, whose own work had clarified the electrical properties of the action potential. The Nobel Committee cited Eccles for discoveries concerning the ionic mechanisms involved in excitation and inhibition in the peripheral and central portions of the nerve cell membrane. After his Nobel win, Eccles accepted a position at the State University of New York at Buffalo in the United States, where he continued his research and mentorship. In 1968, he moved to the University of Chicago, where he began to transition into more philosophical aspects of neuroscience. It was during this period that Eccles deepened his exploration of consciousness, free will, and the mind-brain problem. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Eccles remained a dualist, believing that the mind and brain were distinct entities. He opposed strict materialism and reductionist interpretations of consciousness, arguing instead for a non-material mind that could interact with the physical brain. In 1977, Eccles published The Self and Its Brain, co-authored with philosopher Karl Popper. The book outlined their shared belief in interactionist dualism, that the mind and brain, while distinct, could influence each other. The work was met with both praise and criticism, sparking debates in neuroscience, philosophy, and theology. Eccles married Irene Frances Miller in 1928, and the couple had 9 children. Despite the demands of his research, he was known as a devoted family man. Colleagues often remarked on his gentleness, humility, and meticulous attention to detail. He mentored dozens of scientists who would go on to make significant contributions to neuroscience and medicine. Many described him as a man of quiet determination who believed deeply in the importance of truth, both scientific and philosophical. In his later years, Eccles retired to Locarno, Switzerland, where he continued to write and reflect on the deeper implications of his life's work. Even into his 90s, he remained intellectually active, advocating for a broader understanding of consciousness that went beyond biology. Sir John Eccles passed away on May 2, 1997, aged 94. His death marked the end of an era in neuroscience, but his influence endures. Sir John Eccles is widely regarded as one of the founding fathers of modern neuroscience. His experimental techniques, theoretical insights, and philosophical courage helped lay the foundation for entire fields of research in synaptic physiology and consciousness studies. Major honors: Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1963, Knight Bachelor in 1958, Companion of the Order of Australia in 1977, Fellow of the Royal Society, President of the Australian Academy of Science from 1957 to 1961, Templeton Prize in 1983, and numerous honorary degrees and international accolades. His name lives on in neuroscience through awards, lectureships, and research centers bearing his name. From Nobel breakthroughs to the mystery of the mind, Sir John Eccles proved that true science asks the deepest questions. If you enjoyed this journey into one of the greatest minds of our time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories from history's boldest thinkers.